Hello everybody, I am NallyOV, and today we'll be going... I shouldn't have eaten peanut butter before I did this, but today we're going to be going over Fleet 101. So let's go ahead and get started, if this thing will go. Alright, here's the syllabus, so you can pause this and read through it. I'm not going to bother with it. Most people would put a link in the description of where each of these are in the video, but that sounds like a lot of effort, so I'm not going to. First thing is first, fleet finders. So finding a fleet in the first place. Fleet Finder is a tool in the fleet window that, not surprisingly, helps you find fleets. It will list every fleet that is open to you, including those created by enemies, so you need to be careful when joining random fleets. Generally, you're going to get a ping and jabber, which we'll discuss later, and you'll just join that person's fleet. It'll tell you who the FC is, and you'll just find their name and join. But there's, other random fleets you could join to, I guess. Here's how to do it. So, up in the top left of your screen, you'll see this little E. You'll click it. You'll go to, I think, Social, and then it's Fleet. After you do this the first time, you just click it and the window pops up. You also want to do that again, and then go ahead and click and drag it to the sidebar here for easy access. If you're not in a fleet, this will default to the Fleet Finder window. So if you join a fleet by clicking on it in-game, it should show your fleet history broadcast, I think, and who all's in your fleet. But to join, you just right-click a fleet, join fleet, easy enough, or just double-click it, etc. Jabber. So Jabber is a IM client that lets us all chat to each other, get pings, and that kind of thing. So that kind of says, hey, there's some dudes, we need to fight them, get in my fleet, and it'll list all the information you need to know, like Mumble, who the fleet's under, what we're flying, that kind of thing. Mumble is obviously a voice thing. We use Mumble to talk to each other when fleets are happening, coordinate, that kind of thing, or just hang out when there's nothing going on. Even if you don't have a mic, you still need to be in Mumble, because if you're that guy that, doesn't have Mumble, nobody can... Just get Mumble. Let you see if you have a hearing impairment. If you're listening to this video, you probably have one, can't hear me, so... yeah. So here we have some links. I will maybe put these in the description. I'll probably just end up putting this slideshow in the description. You can go on the slideshow, click through things, click on them here. But here's how to set up Mumble, which you'll set up through auth as well, and then you'll need a whisper key. In Mumble, there's different channels and things, and so the FCs will be in a top channel, and then in the medium channel, there'll be everybody else. And then there may be some more sub-channels with Logi and stuff going on. Your whisper key lets you talk to only your channel so you don't interrupt other people, because they may be doing something like coordinating, that kind of thing. Here's kind of the main roles in most fleets. Keep in mind this is most fleets. Some fleets will be a little bit different, but generally this is kind of just the main thing. The main DPS, damage per second, damage healers, etc., whatever you want to call them. You guys are usually going to anchor on the FC or the anchor. Usually the anchor is the FC. Some people don't like to do that though. So generally you'll just keep it range and shoot targets as they're broadcasted. Logistics, you guys are the Space Priests, the Holy Paladins, that kind of thing. You guys keep our dudes alive. So generally you're going to have a lodge anchor. Sometimes you won't though. Usually you do. So just same thing, anchor on the anchor, watch broadcasts, and then repair people. Support, this is generally what new bros will be in, so that means you. EWAR, that could be jams, that could be target paints, that could be webs, that could be... I can't remember what they're called. Just all sorts of stuff to kind of hinder the enemy fleet. They're really irritating, and they're a fulsome multiplayer, and they're pretty great. Tackle, this is probably what your first role will be. You just scout, burn perches, hold down targets. Scouting's pretty important, and we'll go over that later. A doctrine, just what it says there is it's more of a composition. If we just kind of had a raggedy-ass fleet, then things wouldn't really go as well. We'll go ahead and skip back. So here we are. So I'll explain what doctrine is. So doctrine has all this, right? So let's say I ping for a Cerberus fleet, I get 50 people. Main DPS should probably be about 20 to 25 Cerberuses. Logistics will probably have 4 to 7 or so scimitars, and then we'll have, the rest in support. So maybe a few blackbirds or griffins, crucifiers, whatever we need to fight. And then the rest will probably be dudes and tackle. The watch list. This is your really thing you need to get. Not get, I say, you should do. But you can add members of your fleet to your watch list. So you can just right-click on their name, and then warp to them or do whatever you need to them. It also shows their health if you're doing logistics, which is really helpful. There it says at the bottom. So if you're doing Logi, you need to watch list the FC, the Anchor, and then any special snowflakes. If possible, interdictors, but generally it's going to be like things like Hugens and Lachesis that we really, really need to keep alive. Here is just showing how you to do it. So you can right-click on the person in Fleet and then add to watch list. You can also right-click on their name anywhere in game, and then it's under Fleet, and then add pilot to watch list. And then otherwise you can just drag them and stuff. If you're doing small gang, you can just right-click on the squad and then add all the squad members, so that just adds all 10 or whatever it is. Undocking and stopping. So you click the undock button, obviously, that's going to undock your ship. Then you're going to stop your ship. You can either right-click and then stop your ship. I like to undock and just press Control Spacebar. Somebody told me once that Control Spacebar will accept a fleet invitation. I haven't tested that out though, but if you get fleet invited, then you could get insta-warped off the undock and killed. So it's kind of up to you. You can also just press this little minus button right here. To preserve your station undocking invulnerability, don't do anything else. So don't activate modules, don't move, don't do anything. Here it is. So after you undock, you have 30 seconds of invincibility. Nobody can target you, nobody can shoot you, nobody can bump you, or do anything at all. This is pretty good for kind of undocking, seeing what's there, and then if you don't like it, you can just dock back up. Like it says there, control space to stop your ship, don't touch anything else. Certain stations will kick you out of docking range, so you'll control space, but you'll still be like 2,000 off the undock or so. And then, after you invuln, obviously you'd be a bit out of docking range and you could get killed. So it just depends on what ship you're in. So if you're in like a Rifter, you'll fly off the undock really quick, but say if you're in like a battleship and it's pretty heavy and slow, you'll be fine. You can read the Eve Uni Wiki. It tells you all about it. Usually the Eve Uni Wiki is kept pretty up to date, so that's a good place to get information. Overview settings, so security status and all that stuff doesn't apply in nullsec. It's not blue shoot it. So if you can see them, they're going to be shooting you, and you should be shooting them. Generally, we'll probably set people red or whatever, but that just means we really don't like them. So if they're white, if they're red, if they're orange, it doesn't matter. They're going to be shooting you. If you can see them on your overview, shoot them. So go ahead and you can click this link here, and it'll tell you how to make your overview so you don't see friendlies. You should read that and then go in game, join the Sarashawa Overview Pack channel, and just do that. It'll say it in the message of the day in that channel. It'll just click a few things, and then you'll have your overview set up. Anchoring. So this will usually be the FC, at least I like to do my own anchoring, but that's the guy who you kind of just attach yourself to, and then he flies you around while you're busy, getting reps or shooting, whatever. Your anchor should be on your watch list. So you can right-click your watch list and then warp to them. You can right-click orbit, you can do a bunch of other stuff. You can also use your radio menu. So you hold down left-click on somebody, and a little radio menu will pop up, and then you can do various things from it. Alright, so broadcasts. This is where you'll see targets, aligns, warps, all that kind of stuff. So it'll be in your fleet window, and you'll click on history, and then you want to swap the filter to broadcast history, because that's the only one you really care about. And you can see there, so people broadcast for various things. You can make these different colors, so let's say I needs armor to be red. I could right-click on this little menu thing here, and I think it's like broadcast settings, and then there's like a little box. You can click the box and set it to whatever color you want. That's really useful for, let's say I usually set my targets to red, armor to yellow, shield to blue, and that just kind of lets me, look at a glance, oh, a lot of people are needing reps, a lot of people might be dying, that kind of thing. Alright, so if you're in a tackle frigate, if you're in a big fight, generally you don't want to broadcast for reps, because bigger and badder ships and more expensive ships are going to need reps more than you do. Here's how to broadcast for reps, so you'll click history, these little down arrows here, and then right over here. So, just as it says here. So I'll let this play a few times. Now, you can make a shortcut to these buttons, which is what you want to do. So you'll want to go ahead and set that up now. So you'll hit escape, you'll go to shortcuts, and then navigation, and then they're in here. So need armor, need capacitor, need shield. I set these to 1, 2, and 3. I'll put need capacitor 1, shield to 2, and armor to 3. If you want to do 1, 2, 3, you'll have to unbind them somewhere else. I think it's under combat and tag, so you can just clear those shortcuts out of there, and then you can just set them to whatever you want, really. And so that lets you just, click 1, 2, or 3 instead of trying to go to your fleet window and then trying to click it, and, it gives you an extra 5-second buffer room. So here's how to scout. You all should watch this, and you should know how to scout. Generally, this is what you'll be doing first, and then if you're in a tackle ship with a mic, generally an FC is just going to call on you, say, hey, I need a scout, you're going to scout, so get to it. Scouts travel ahead of the fleet, or sit at strategic locations and relay important information to the FC. This could be an Arazu coming in, so that Arazu may have a Sino on it, which has supers waiting on the other side, or it could be another enemy fleet landing on the gate, and we need to know about it. So when you're reporting intel, you need to say how many people there are, what they're in, where they're coming from, all that good stuff. You'll get better at scouting as you go. So usually you fly one jump ahead, a scout, obviously. So you'll assess your destination, or the FC should probably tell you the destination if you're the scout, or he'll just tell you where to go. So you just stay jump ahead, and you just keep a jump ahead of everybody and report any information that you might come across. So hopefully you've been using Whisper Key, but now you need to use your push to talk so the FC can hear you because he's in a command channel most likely. So scouting, let's say you just jumped into another system and there's an enemy fleet on grid. You want to quickly sort by type, say, okay, there's about, let's see, that's 5 Hurricanes, there's 2 size, and of various tackle. So you can just tell them, well, there's 20-man Hurricane fleet, about 7 Hurricanes, etc. on the other side of this gate. And then you want to tell them how many and then where they're from. So let's say they're 50 above the gate. So they're 50 kilometers above the gate. If you can, try to get a D-scan. I think it's Alt-D, scan, and then you'll try to put in a D-scan tool. You'll learn about that later. Then just general scouting if you up to the next gate, and then if there's anybody in system or that kind of thing, or bubbles, you just want to report that that's there so we can avoid it. Perches. So scout ships are usually pretty small. They move quickly. They don't do a lot of damage though, but they allow you to maneuver and get into very advantageous positions. So to warp to someone or be warped to, you need to be 150 kilometers away from them. So if our fleet blob is 90 away, then nobody can warp to you. If you're 150 away, then I would assume about half of them are going to warp to you. So you want to try to be around 170 to 160 away to ensure everyone can get the warp. Aligning. So aligning a fleet has several purposes. Incoming damage is mitigated by velocity. This is what anchors will do. Moving targets are more difficult to land on and probe. And then fleets that align together warp together and sometimes die together. This just lets everyone land on the grid all at once and keep everyone together. That way you're not just kind of trickling in and then, people are getting popped one by one as they come in. You align to an object by traveling towards it. So for off-grid, you can right-click Align to. For close on-grid, you can right-click Align to. You can align to bones to anything. You can align to pretty much anything except for, I think, ships and a few other things. So let's say there's an enemy gang on grid with us, and you're 200 off them, but you're going to get the FC has probed them, and you're going to get fleet warped. So you can double-click at them, and your ship will point itself that way and start moving down towards them. So that's kind of how you align without having the align button. Traveling as a fleet. So this is where you need to listen to the FC. So your destination will probably be linked. The FC will usually fleet warp everyone so everybody stays together. If you're not aligned, so if you didn't take that line to the gate command and you're dicking around, you're going to get left behind. Do not jump through the gates until ordered. If your FC is any good, he's going to use gate as green and red, respectively. Green, so it's kind of like a stoplight. So gate is green would mean, okay, you're good to go ahead and jump, and then red would be do not jump. Generally, people aren't paying that much attention, so they only hear keywords like jump or warp or any of that kind of stuff. So they'll only be listening. They won't hear don't jump, they'll just hear jump, and then everybody will start jumping. And then other people see other people jumping, and then they start jumping, and it just kind of snowballs from there. So red and green. Question and answers. This is a video, so that's not really a thing, so we'll just skip it. The rest of these are just links. So there's skill plans on our forums and that kind of thing. So you want to do probably the 30-day, then 120-day, and then start branching out from there. We have mentors for you. We have making IS guides. We have squads and various things. A squad would be like Predators for Black Ops, FC Bootcamp if you want to start learning how to FC, that kind of thing. Test Social for, other games like League of Legends, Dota, Rocket League, etc. EVE University Wiki, it has a lot of good information on it, so does ours. This is a price check, so you can just price check, say, Jita. I want to know how much a Rifter is in Jita, so I just type in a Rifter and it'd tell me. Dotlan is a map. It just kind of shows you some good information in a non-horrible map that's not in-game. You can click this and that'll teach you how to descan. Third-party tools, fitting tools. EFT is what I use. I've heard a lot of good things about PIFA, and then I don't know what that is, haven't used it yet. But these kind of let you put chips together and test them out before you actually buy them in-game. Character monitors, I don't really use these much, but a lot of people do. So you can just make skill plans and all that good stuff. This is actually the end of the video now. So if you have questions, I guess, ask in our Jabber channel. It's going to be DDFC, DEE, no wait, DD Reddit. I lied. I'll put a link in the description. No, I won't. You'll see it when you sign up on Auth. Auth is how we do everything. I don't know if it's on this video or not. I think it probably branches off from the Mumble guy. But you'll need to set up Auth. You'll have done this to join in the first place. And then you'll get on the wiki and you'll look at Mumble. And then you probably want to get in the forums and then Jabber. So Jabber and Mumble are two things you really want to get. They let you pretty much do everything. So that'll conclude the video, I suppose. So if you have any questions, ask in game, etc. All right, and good luck.